The way that the crime-fighting pendulum has started to swing is that you've heard us say it before, we can no longer arrest our way out of everything. We can't do this alone. And especially on the topic that Lieutenant Gibbon has chosen to talk about tonight. We really, really need your help. And if we want to continue to drive these crime numbers down, we really need your help. We had a phenomenal past 2 years. We've driven crime down over 20% since 2017, which is huge. But the place where we're still needing to make a lot of headway is in home and auto burglaries. And as a matter of fact, if I can sing his praises, Lieutenant Gibbon put together a burglary task force last summer that dramatically dropped burglaries and even more importantly, dropped stolen firearms, which is the first time in over a decade that happened in Northwest. Over a decade. And he dropped them by over 20%. So it's possible. Your gun is not going to protect anything when it's left in your car. You got to take it out and practice responsible gun ownership. We have 66 of them already year to date up in Northwest, stolen guns out of cars. 66, and it's March 2nd, March 3rd. Unacceptable. 66 people couldn't take their gun out of their car and put it in their safe that's in their house. So this is what we're talking about today, okay? We will have increased officer presence. We will work your neighborhoods. We will do all the things that you guys want us to do. But you got to help me out just a little bit. So they steal your gun out of your car, then what happens? Hopefully they take it to California, but in our case they didn't. In our case they stole them in a home burglary and auto burglary during the summer, and 4 and then 6 days later they used them to shoot at our police officers, and darn near killed 2 of them. Okay, that actually worked at this station. And our cops are now put in a position to use force, deadly force, back on these subjects. So if that doesn't convince you to lock your stuff up, I don't know what will. But that is what put us over the edge, which is why it's our biggest campaign. It's why we talk about it everywhere we go, and it's why we implore you, we need your help, please. Okay, so that's what today is all about.
Sergeant Sean Scott is with Nevada Parole and Probation. And I got to tell you, last year, 2019, Captain Larkin and I were over at Northwest Area Command. And as all police departments and agencies, we talk about how we're going to fight crime. Sergeant Scott, you are our unsung community hero. There have been numerous success stories as a result of our agencies working together, from recovery of illegal firearms and narcotics to preventing further crimes occurring in identifying and arresting violators. This would not have been a reality had you not reached out to us a year ago. You are committed on your tenacity, hard work, and dedication in ensuring our community's safety. Thank you for being a partner with Summerlin Area Command and Las Vegas Metropolitan Police. We started getting larceny from persons, what we call it. Basically, purse snatching. Women in retail centers and casinos had these juvenile males coming up to them and stealing the purses and running away. We were able to connect the crimes that they were the same set of suspects. There was like 4 male juveniles that were involved. So these 2 detectives worked for different sergeants, different squads. And what I saw early on was when this series came out is the communication between the 2 of them. Instead of one detective taking it all, they combined on this effort and took on these cases. These 2 detectives conducted interviews on the suspects and got a full confession. They also learned of 2 other suspects that were involved. To date, we have the 3 in custody with a 4th pending. And it was because of the tenacity of their investigative work and working through the nighttime, sometimes on their days off. I had to call them and say, hey, what about this? And they would come in and work the case. Detective Hanoff, Detective Vaughn, it is due to your hard work, dedication, and relentless follow-up to locate and identify the persons responsible for these crimes that now have been solved. You are to be commended and thanked for your making a difference to the community we serve.
Like the lieutenant said, my name is Randy. I've worked in law enforcement since 1995. I started as a NYPD cop. I know it's hard to believe because I look like I'm 30. But I've worked for multiple agencies throughout the country, and by far I've found Metro, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, to be the most engaged with the community. And I started thinking about it. If you ever see a police car, no matter where you are, somewhere on the vehicle there's a slogan or a catchphrase. Does anybody know what's written on the side of our black and whites?
Partners with the community.
Partners with the community. And I think it's a great message because many of us, as we grow up, especially some of us older people in the room, when we grew up, you grew up on the street, you had a beat cop, they knew you knew them, so you knew not to commit anything bad, or they'd tell my mother long before I got home, right? But now that we've grown up into these sprawling valleys and suburbs, our officers now are no longer on the beat so much. They're in cars and they're driving around and they're covering very large areas of distance. And so we know as a law enforcement agency, there is no way that we can solve crime or protect your communities effectively all on our own. It has to be a partnership with the community. And we invest a lot of resources in that. So tonight I'm going to go over, I have some slides to go over you, we'll talk about some different programs that you can participate in, some ways that you can stay informed, and more importantly, engaged with us. At the end of this presentation, I will stick around as long as you need to ask me any questions as you want. So bear with them cleaning up the room, but I will stick around as long as you need. So the first thing I'm going to cover is Neighborhood Watch, because that is probably the most popular or the most famous, and it's also nationwide, if not internationally recognized program that's out there. Several years ago, Metro, we had our main Metro page. And then they saw how different agencies around the country were using it to get even more engaged with the communities that we represent. So the sheriff said, you know what, every area command, I want you to have your own pages. So that way people that are living in your communities, working or playing in your communities, they can be more informed, more aware, and engaged in the community. So now, Metro, they're on all these sites, but also us as an area command, Summerlin area command, we're on these sites as well. What we do sometimes see is people put on messages and say, look at these guys, they broke into my truck, and we see crimes that are happening, our auto burglaries that are happening. And the first thing we'll do is we'll look in that community and we'll see no reports. It's like that tree, if it falls in the woods and there's nobody around, does it make a sound? If a crime happens in your community and you don't report it, we're not aware of it. If you put that picture up on, that video up on Facebook, we can't do anything with it unless there is a crime report that is attached to it. Pushing it out on every social media platform does not really help us out very much because we cannot investigate a crime that has not been reported, okay? So what we need you guys to do is use social media as an effective way to stay informed, aware, and communicate effectively, and share those videos if you have filed a report of a crime. We have found that technology has come a long way, and one of those things is surveillance cameras. When they first came out, only the richie riches of the world had them, but technology has come great down. The quality has improved and the cost has come down. A unit within Metro started a program called Vegas Safe Cam. And what that allows is, it allows our residents who have exterior surveillance cameras on their home, even if it's just a doorbell camera, you can register that with us. Now, we're not going to monitor your home for you, we're not going to watch your grass grow, but we're also not going to access it unauthorized, okay? How it works is, in the old days, if my neighbor's house was burglarized, after the officer took the report, he would go door to door, did you see anything, did you hear anything, that sort of thing. Now that we realize so many people have invested in surveillance cameras, when you register it with us, the officers can then go to the patrol car, pull up a little map on our database, and see which homes have cameras. And when you register your cameras, you also tell us how you wish to be contacted, in person, phone, email, text, whatever it may be, and the hours that you want to be contacted. You can opt out at any point, okay? It's voluntary. Surveillance cameras, so they're effective. These two guys are in the garage of a home, and Tweedledee and Tweedledum, Tweedledee's working on the door, Tweedledum looks up and sees the camera and says, hey, do you see that camera? They look up and they say, oh, let's go this way, and they leave. So they can be an effective deterrent.
I want to thank you for coming. The captain had to sneak out of here for another event. Our next First Tuesday is when? The first Tuesday of next month?
April 7th.
April 7th. April 7th is our next First Tuesday. Lieutenant Tavares will be running the next First Tuesday. We may go on the road, so please log on to our websites, our social media sites, because we'll give you the location as that comes forward.